Welcome back, OGN Legion, LCK Spring 2018, Seoul E Stadium, and we have a tied-up series. BBQ Olivers were eventually able to take down KONGDOO Monster. It wasn't as easy as it may have looked like it could have been at the beginning.
I'm going to give you another chance at using the right inflection for the eventually part, because it was certainly
Eventually.
Exactly. It deserved full pronunciation because it was damn slow. But your MVP, not quite a secret agent, 0, 1, and 7 was Trick here, who made the Ivern work. And I think that already is something to credit someone, because Ivern has never been a staple of the Korean meta. This really dunked the Ryze. You feel so sheepish if you're a Roach after that moment, and from there, his pathing was good. The old staples of invade trick didn't work because lanes were in a good spot, and he played well around the invasions with smart pathing. The best pathing I've seen by a Korean player on Ivern. Admittedly small sample size, but still good stuff from Trick, and from there, wasn't really his fault that it took a long time. They mismanaged some of their Baron starts, but this was the moment where they finally got that damn Tahm Kench, put him on the bench, and they won the game from there.
And you thought it might have been Edge that was going to fall down, but in the end, it was in fact Secret. Like you mentioned, some really cute play by Sol. Buster shot away the Ivern, but in the end, BBQ just too far ahead. Too many redemptions, and this base was just overrun mostly by minions.
There were just so many things. It really was a zoo, but
yeah.
Zoo, the chief architect of the zoo, the man who with the plan was Trick. So congratulations on your first day here, back in the LCK after 2 years in Europe. So Trick on that MVP, and BBQ. You know, a lot of people would have picked them as the winners of this match preseason. KONGDOO Monsters Ascension, and BBQ struggles in game 1. Definitely flipped the tables, but the fan vote was close, and so far this series is pretty finely poised, apart from the fact that we do have a blue side entrance for the side of KONGDOO Monster.
Yeah, this is the thing. Blue side has looked very, very strong. KONGDOO Monster now moving back there and looked brilliant in game number 1 as well. Plus, a lot of question marks as far as the Ryze towards the top side of the map was concerned. Was the draft something that KONGDOO would actually practice, things like that? There are a lot of these things that we can throw
It was one of those next levels where, you know, in hindsight, it was that secondary read where it's like, okay, well, you kind of next leveled yourself. Because if you get really next level about, you thought Ryze was mid, well, look at this. It's like, well, actually, it's not that good, guys. Sorry. It was kind of the reality of the Ryze. Was largely a non-factor in that game, especially after getting dunked at level 1, but we'll digress on that. BBQ doesn't want any nonsense, it's banning away the hyper carries on red side. Will they ban the Kog'Maw? Because, as I said, I have literally zero doubt in my mind it will be first picked if available. KONGDOO, sorry, not Kog'Maw. KONGDOO banned Kog'Maw on blue side, interestingly, but that was without 2 AD carry bans, and KONGDOO Monster not interested in first picking the Kog'Maw. Interesting.
They're just going to do exactly the same thing. And look, it does make sense, because if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And their first game draft did work. But Varus is going to be taken away here from Sol, and certainly he did look very comfortable on it in game number 1.
A lot open here. Tahm Kench could be considered, but high priority put on the Tristana that helped delay the game, but wasn't necessarily able to come close to being a match winner. It was useful, but it wasn't at any point that it felt like Tristana could 1v5. Very high priority on the Tristana. I'm not sure I like that from KONGDOO, given what else was available. Potentially answer Ryze would be an obvious one on the side of BBQ if they're happy to have Tempt take it blind. The Malzahar has also been very good and is a bit of a blocker pick. Can still take Ryze into it, but, you know, with kind of an asterisk that you know is going to be pretty tough. And then they go for the, well, if you pick Ryze, we're going to dunk you duo, if it does end up being Malzahar and Jarvan.
The exact duo that KONGDOO were able to lock in last time around as well. So BBQ just going to take away some of the big tools KONGDOO Monster have been using against them. Ryze can go for the Zac once again if he wants to. It's the only other jungle that we've seen in play thus far, but still does have a few other things in his wheelhouse. No, it's actually going to be the switchover, so Ryze, another free J4 if he wants it, as Caitlyn is locked in.
Interesting to see them play with their food a little bit there. It suggests to me they have a plan, potentially in the jungle, but also with their pick on the red side. Gangplank available for now. Both teams will consider that, with where the draft is at, and KONGDOO Monsters say, well, didn't like how it went in the previous game, but we're going to commit to Ryze anyway into the Malzahar. I guess now we have to say and pay lip service to the fact that it could be a top lane pickup.
Yeah.
Maybe ban Gnar.
Yeah, potentially. It's just thinking that, like, what are the options here? try and get that Ryze back into a comfortable position. Doesn't have the best time against Malzahar just in general, but with Ryze there, the Jarvan and Ryze combo is pretty good, as there's the Kha'Zix trick. Back into a little bit more of an offensive flavor of role. So if he discovers Ryze in a more isolated manner, the bug could certainly feast.
Kind of surprising that Zoe went through the picks after being banned in our first 2 games of the day.
Yeah.
Not surprising in the context that we've seen Zoe go through picks and bans completely, but because we do have a best of 3 on best of 3 meta kind of developed because we are so early in the season. Zoe being available and not picked, given that expected to see Ryze versus Malzahar in the mid lane, is always a bit of a surprise.
Interestingly, it's going to be BBQ the ban away the Gnar. Not going to grab that straight after this second ban phase is over. Shen going to be taken away from IgNar. More crazy, theoretically.
Gangplank, the interesting pick here, may just be banned on blue side as well.
Crazy could be going for a first pick on the Gangplank as well, given the fact that the Gnar has been banned.
Waiting a long time before settling on the Tahm Kench that caused them endless frustration, and the viewers as well, I imagine, endless frustration in the previous game. And now are you happy with them to just opt into the Gangplank if you're KONGDOO Monster? Otherwise it will be a ban at this spot. For support and also top lane on the side of BBQ, and they need some tankiness about their top laner. You would imagine, just because so far it's high DPS, I guess it could just be a tank support.
Stock on Alistar just rose a fair bit as well.
Absolutely.
Even the Tahm and the Braum have been taken off the board. Then we're going to be going into a few more of these mages. Janna might be another option. But Alistar doesn't make a lot of sense here, and BBQ are considering it here for IgNar.
IgNar's Alistar was a real highlight in that series against SK Telecom. His full Metal Gear Solid style, sneaking around and trying to find ganks was a big treat for the crowd over there. And, well, Roach found champion he likes, insta-locks Ornn.
There it is.
Could be support also, I guess I should say.
Yeah.
So one support Ornn yesterday.
We'll find out as Secret is going to lock in what could be a multitude of different things. Soraka would be an odd one.
Definitely would be. I don't know about that one. Taric makes a lot more sense going for team fight 5v5 blitz comp from KONGDOO Monster. Strong ranged initiation from Jarvan and non-committal ranged initiation from the Ornn into Tristana and Ryze as DPS threats. Okay, team fights is what KONGDOO is doing. Look at BBQ, they can kind of go either way. Usually Kha'Zix doesn't fit that mold, and instead they're going to try to play around skirmish. Skirmish comp here from BBQ. Malzahar plus Kha'Zix is almost always a dead person if they're isolated. The Gangplank runs over the Ornn, at least in terms of gold generation, because he gets a free lane against Ornn and specifically can become a 4-1 strength. So we have very clear battle lines drawn by both teams. KONGDOO Monster, God team fight, BBQ, trying to kind of skirt around and avoid team fights wherever possible. The KONGDOO Monster of Game 1 wouldn't allow them to do that, but the KONGDOO Monster of Game 2 never got going. Let's see if Ryze can have a Game 1-esque performance, because when he sets the tone, KONGDOO seems to follow up very well.
Yeah, and see whether Trick can try and orchestrate any of these really cute level 1 plays as well. Doesn't have the root caller available to him now on the Kha'Zix, but will have a little bit more of that strength up towards that level 6 mark, as opposed to only having it after, which is where he found himself on the Zac in game number 1. So a different beast now. This top lane will be interesting. Roach looked very comfortable on the Ornn day number 1. And Ryze back on the J4 once again against a changed up Trick, trying to improve the win rate of that Kha'Zix.
Yeah, it's going to be not necessarily a struggle. He does have good lanes to visit, but it's never a guarantee with Kha'Zix. We're finding series on series here in LCK. He has struggled. Bot lane's probably going to be Relic Shield, so I won't talk about that too much, but IgNar and Alistar is a fun.
That is. Secret as well, now bringing the Taric back in. So we've got some fabulousness as we get into game number 3. Certainly some opportunities for FLICKR and some excitement. See whether KONGDOO can make it 2 in a row or whether BBQ can get the reverse sweep in this best of 3.
소환사의 협곡에 오신 것을 환영합니다.
Okay, no one dead just yet, Papa Smithy. So we're off to a better start for KONGDOO Monster.
But for a better start in
for
general.
BBQ. Oh,
yeah. That's a great duo right there. The audio of the cowbell and the 6 shades.
Yep.
The BBQ fan.
The 6 shades and the shaking,
Clearly.
almost in like double time.
Clearly a Tempt fan, and even though Tempt really hasn't had a series so far of note, I know that Tempt is one of these players who I think is on the cusp of really taking it to the next level. I think he's a very, very promising player that not a lot of people, especially global viewers, know about because he's been playing on BBQ and been more in a relegation battle than pushing for the playoffs. But if I had one player I could point to and say he's ready to take the next step, there's a lot of potential here that's kind of been slept upon, it would be Tempt for me. I think he is really talented in the mid lane, and that's why Trick and IgNar adding some class and experience really made me excited about BBQ, because it'd be a chance for Tempt to show his strength.
Yeah, and also changing up that champion pool just a little bit. This guy was sort of 3 champions that he was very, very comfortable on in the likes of the Cassiopeia, the Corki, and the Talia last season. Saving the best till last, of course, was a massive pick for him. But has since been able to really flex, get himself some different champions, but still has that Tempt flavor where he can get around the map.
Still learning about what Ryze flavor is exactly, but his flavor right now is Invasion, let me tell you.
Yeah. So far hasn't been spotted, I don't think, as that ward went down quite late.
I think it's spotted.
All right, so just spotted.
Or the ward was, one or the other, but does at least slow down Trick, which is pretty good news for Roach. Roach has gone the Ignite Unsealed Spellbook route on Ornn, which has become very, very common. Picking into a bad matchup, but taking a Summoner to help yourself in the 1v1 or 2v2 has become more common, as it's just a ward and escape, but of course not something that Kha'Zix has full information on, so he's slowed down his jungle path, which suits Jarvan and the Ornn equally.
Yeah, means that Ryze more than happy just to keep farming out his jungle as well, staying towards topside in case anything crazy happens.
Little pop-up information here. Even though it's only 2 assists for Secret, that's because, you know, there wasn't really many kills for the side of KONGDOO Monster, and many wards placed because Secret's whole job was either to ward or to help someone ward the Baron for a good 30 minutes of the game.
Yeah. Trick finally going to be able to take this Bramble back down. Should be able to do it unhindered. Edge now with control of the Ryze as opposed to handing it over, as Ryze almost making it there on time.
Been spotted. Could have gone all the way around, but of course no Realm Warp for Ryze to assist him. The range not quite there. Well, he's taking a creative path, but he's here.
Yeah, gets his way in there. There's the knocker. Okay, gets the electrocute damage, but this should be a big Raptor going over to Ryze.
Does mean some battle warding coming through from Ryze as well. So far his goal has been to make Kha'Zix accountable. Does isolate lanes. Gangplank's getting free farm, which is not ideal, but not going to be able to pressure out the Ornn pre any item purchases this early in the game. A lot of tank champions actually do get pressured out by Gangplank. You think of Poppy and Shen, who have rough laning phases because they can't really interact from range as much as Ornn, who basically every time he sees the Q in the air, just chooses that time to use W. Yeah. Bellows Breath just answers the damage, so he stays topped up at full health. An Ornn special, of course.
Topped up at full health and also just like marches forward killing minions at the same time. Everything being pretty much wave clear. So yeah, not having too hard a time is Roach on the top side, but Crazy not getting exactly pressured. So, like you mentioned, going to be a pretty free lane.
An award here, so kind of a team effort to keep this Kha'Zix accountable. We can see on our minimap that 3 out of his camps were in wards. Right now, it is the Krugs, red buff, and also this Gromp that he's taking. Blue buff, I guess you could say as well. So, very good vision here from KONGDOO Monster. I mean, they were very powerful on in game 1 of the series as well.
Yeah. Seems like there's finally a time where Trick gets himself into the enemy jungle, which isn't as warded. Ryze gonna be able to go home just fine. Blast Cone gets Trick back over the wall, and he's not going to spend too much time over there. But the full clear of the jungle means that Ryze able to go back, finish his trackers, and grab himself a longsword here as well.
Won't be a full tank Jarvan this time. We'll be back to the Warriors, so we're seeing some range from Ryze. When he played it against MVP, he went DPS Jarvan as a counterpoint to Ambition, who went full tank Jarvan in his series, the first series of 2 days ago. But Ryze is already on Cinderhawk earlier in this series, and it's back to the Warrior route.
IgNar just playing with both of the KONGDOO monster members.
I mean, if you just freeze the minion wave for even a half second, it does help your AD carry.
Not too worried about this damage either by the looks of things. Yeah, no one coming, so not going to be able to get any sort of kills or anything like that. Bottom lane being a pretty standard Season 8 bottom lane.
7, by the way, is the number this time, Atlas.
7? Oh, we got 7 stopwatches?
We do. That's more than 6.
I'm glad that we got an extra game. It's added to the stopwatch.
Once again, Ryze re-invading. Remember, he steal the big chicken last time. Doesn't get it this time. I call it a chicken because it's a BBQ.
Exactly, the popcorn chicken. It's delicious.
Love to see the gold when we see it on the screen because Gangplank is almost equal in CS and has the Kleptomancy, so we all know how that goes.
Generally pretty good. Anyone needed a cheat code? Answer that particular question.
Passive early game. Ryze hasn't been able to pull off the level 3 special that he did in the last game.
Yeah, do you think this is a product of him, not quite finding the success in game number 2? Is some of the mojo missing? It just feels like this is a different Ryze that we're seeing this time, even though things didn't go horribly wrong at the beginning or anything like that.
To me, it's a different assignment because if you think about what's happened this game, the team as a whole has been warding and returning to camps and challenging camps that the Kha'Zix is taking, rather than necessarily looking for ganks. So in the previous game, he wasn't running at level 2 to the enemy red to slow down the Kha'Zix or potentially contest him. He was very much thinking about his own pathing. So instead of having a selfish, which is kind of a weird thing to say about ganks, but more of a selfish kind of action-orientated path, he's gone for more of a challenging path because there will be a point where Trick becomes useless. That late-game Kha'Zix very rarely is pulled off. You can definitely try and if the enemy team misplays and gets isolated, but usually in 5v5 team fights when no one is isolated, Kha'Zix doesn't have a lot of value, and if you can stop the snowball and trivialize his mid-game by challenging him for camps, the time of that Kha'Zix being more and more irrelevant comes early.
Well, speaking of which, he has spotted him out once again. And once more, Trick just desperately trying to hold on to sole vision control of his own jungle.
Got the Tia Taric again, the Gorilla special.
Yeah, I like it.
People weren't watching the first game. I speculated that's to keep heal uptime up a lot. All right, Trick's trying one. He's kind of get a bit of catharsis here.
Yeah, Flash comes straight in and Cannon Barrage lands as well. Got him turning gold into Soul, gets the heal, but Trick's able to grab the first blood. He turns into gold at the same time. But IgNar and Ghost are going to turn up at the same time, and Edge completely regrets that decision. Secret doesn't get there, and KONGDOO Monster. This is, we're getting shades of the old KONGDOO Monster in this particular early game.
Must have been such a feel-good moment for Trick. He finally had license to jump in and try to assassinate the Jarvan who didn't have a Syndog, didn't have even the Ruby Crystal, Barmy Cinder's gone for the DPS route. And then the troops came running in one by one, but too late, Atlas. The Cosmic Radiance was never going to arm in time. Completely wasted ability. That result is 2 kills and a lot of control on the map to BBQ.
Yeah, not to mention that Soul using that flash straight into the heal, trying to keep him alive. In the end, I mean, that should have been it. You should just sacrifice that one, but a little bit of overcommittal. KONGDOO Monster find themselves in a deficit. Only 1,000 gold, but still great start for BBQ Olivers.
Oh, it's so important for Trick as well, who had been kind of well held until that particular moment. As we start working towards his serrated Dirk items.
Yeah, Warrior Enchant done now, and with item advantage over the Jarvan could mean that Trick can start getting into the jungle, especially as these waves start to push forward. Tempt almost able to shove these ones out at will.
To me, the take on the tier, just to finish that point on the Taric, is that heal uptime is almost 100% if you can auto-attack, given how Taric's passive works. So I think you just don't want to be gated by anything. You want to be able to provide true sustain in lane. Between Relic Shield and just auto-attacking, applying his passive, you do run through mana quite fast. So actually going for tier here, it seems crazy, and I'm not sure if it will be the long-term build on Taric, but clearly with Gorilla and now Secret doing it, it's becoming more and more common in Korea.
Yeah. Speaking of common, we've got 5 times free ass boots coming in for KONGDOO Monster.
Oh, so much free boots.
Saving so much money. You realize you get 2 of those?
2 what?
Free ass boots.
That's true.
Yeah.
No one talks about that.
I know. And I mean, that does mean theoretically that one of the boots is 150 gold each, so it's still 300, but...
Does mean you also get a 50 gold discount, so it's further discount, Atlas.
Yeah. I mean, I guess if you Cassiopeia, you're pretty annoyed.
She doesn't even get the option to take free ass
Yeah, you're
boots.
just like, free ass boots. Wish I could take the free ass boots.
Well, Trick wants the free ass Infernal Drake.
Well, he's getting it. IgNar's just playing the cow bodyguard. Secret moves over, gets a ward in, and just watches as the Drake dies.
The team comp like this.
Starting to come in, yeah.
Gangplank top, 4 DPS members who all build AD and AP respectively. High value on that Infernal Drake, so a nice position here for BBQ, and now KONGDOO Monster gonna have to reassess things. Gangplank free farming on top, early timing on the Trinity Force. The Warrior Jarvan, who was in a wonderful spot now, is kind of second-guessing himself at every moment with no stopwatch and no flash. You're in a very nice spot 11 minutes into the game.
Yeah, feeling like a little bit of a disaster. But Ryze, see whether he can turn it around. He's needed to in the last game, didn't quite find his way in. Needs to this game. It's time to prove himself. Got to play from all sorts of different positions in League of Legends, and just good finding a first blood and then winning a game. I mean, that's good, but need a little bit more than that.
Some more standard draft from BBQ as well. So them winning on a draft like this, not just the Ivern kind of surprise, I guess you would say,
yeah,
is definitely feather in their cap as they go on to increasingly difficult matchups as the season goes on. Not going to count KONGDOO out, but BBQ in a nice spot. The Infernal working for them as well, and Trick strong enough to actually enter the enemy jungle after being completely shadowed in his own jungle is a big shift in map power for the side of BBQ.
Ryze doing his very best to try and at least wrestle back some of that control, clearing out some vision as it gets put down, and these chickens aren't going to be exactly contested, but this ward is going to be the money ward. IgNar comes right around the side though. A Secret does stun him up. SSol looking to make his way in. Remember, the Unbreakable Will is there, but SSol over to the side. Very, very comfortable. That's going to be Trick stealing away the red buff though, as Ghost trying to get his way out. Realm Walk does mean that IgNar's most likely dead. Plays a bit of Pong with the Call of the Forge God. It's going to mean that he falls, but yeah, Crazy's just taken down turrets. Ghost makes his way back towards the bottom lane. He's farming up. Tempt doing exactly the same thing. Space bought by IgNar, and that's only 1 kill and nothing else to transition to.
You can see, you can really hear the call without even needing to have a listen in. It was get in there, initiate. Cosmic Radiance is far too early again. Not been impressed by Secret on the Taric. The Taric ultimate's such an important part of his kit, especially early. And from there, you know, using the Realm Warp as well. They eventually chase down Alistar, but at the cost of basically all of their turret HP in the top lane. KONGDOO are over-forcing after 3 games of really being both the aggressor and the more passive player. Think about a top team. We said, okay, let's complement them. They can play the aggressive comps. They can play the scaling comps. Another part of a top team that KONGDOO hadn't had to face is actually coming off a loss, and they're just too overeager. It feels like they're just too centered upon making these aggressive plays, and the last 2 have been just not working.
Yeah, trying way too hard to go back to what they were managing to win on before, instead of thinking about what they can do to dismantle this particular team in the position that they're in.
IgNar's on a walk. A walkabout, as we Aussies would say.
Left the stable there as Roach. He's going to make his way back, but I don't think Searing Charge is really going to help him there as IgNar charges up the headbutt, it looks like. Roach trying to save himself, but does get the shield back from the breath, and he's going to be fine.
That's a really good play by Alistar. You saw IgNar actually waited to see the Billow's Breath before he used headbutt to stop the CC interrupt of the Billow's Breath, just cancelling out the headbutt. He didn't want to necessarily start with headbutt earlier either because it's flashable, so he was just trying to guarantee CC, which he got, but in the end, Kha'Zix was tanking the turret. They couldn't finish off the kill, but they will finish off the turret.
Yeah, managed to get another Billow's Breath actually at the end as well, given the extra CDR.
His item build is different also. He's actually rushed Frozen Heart in this game instead of Iceborne Gauntlet, so that does mean that he'll have significantly less pushing power. Billow's Breath does damage, certainly to minions, but it's the Iceborne Gauntlet to really finish off the minions that gives him close to shoving ability. So losing out on Iceborne Gauntlet is not a trivial problem for Roach. And it means also that he has really no chance to trade, because at least if he's able to Billow's Breath, Iceborne Gauntlet auto, it's something. The Iceborne Gauntlet being gone means that he just has to kind of run away from the Gangplank.
Yeah, the Gangplank is starting to run away from him as far as farm is concerned, which is terrifying given the nature of Kleptomancy. Crazy feeling pretty comfortable heading towards his Ghostblade as item number 2 as well. He's going to be able to run super fast. Clear out minions real quick as well. This Gangplank's only going to become more and more of a problem for KONGDOO Monster.
KONGDOO's vision, which we praised a lot of times, there's a bit of a gap in it.
Oh dear. Edge is in trouble. Oh, but does have a little stopwatch. Gets himself out. He'll be fine. So I always think that Ryzes are going to die, and then they never do. Obviously.
Not in this matter, Atlas. We don't have much dying in bot.
Secret!
Dying with Ryze.
He's in trouble. The flash comes forward, though, as Trick. He's going to be taken down. No way to get out of that after the leap and the flash. Cataclysm is going to be enough to seal the deal.
It's only a kill, though. They need to turn it into more than a kill. A Rift Herald to kind of be the minimum standard. At the same time, Gangplank is free farming and pushing against Ornn. So just kills are not enough for KONGDOO Monster. And sadly, as the map resets, that's all they get.
So, free farming a bit here in this mid lane, but does want to be careful of IgNar. Momentum shifts, certainly good. KONGDOO Monster fans. Ray's going to utilize this opportunity, actually, to look for the Rift Herald. Playing out of turret in trouble, but only goes down to about half health. Cannon Barrage helping out.
We're dogpiling, Atlas.
Oh dear. Cowpiling, maybe? I don't know. IgNar's feeling pretty good. Gets Tempt out of the way, but he still had his shield from his passive. Pulverizes there. IgNar's wondering how many buttons he actually needs to press in order to get this one to work out. Turns out, barely even one of them. That is a very dead Ornn.
So what more it is, going to definitely be at least an outer bot lane turret. Rift Herald will be achieved. Macro trade here is to be established. So many low objectives and so many people doing different things on the map. We do see Rift Herald is claimed. Top lane turret will probably go down. It's Ryze, you're never 100% sure, but the best turret pusher. It's probably going to end up being a kill, an Ocean Drake, and bot lane outer turret for top lane outer, the Rift Herald.
And a lot of damage in mid lane as well. I mean, went down
BBQ,
for BBQ, so feels even better for them. What felt like already a winning trade.
I guess that's equivalent just because KONGDOO was behind, so they get kind of like a 1.2% or 1.2 times buff for anything they're able to claim. Yeah, we got multipliers.
Yeah, we got multiplier play. Handicaps and whatnot. I like it.
I do feel like Sion should get extra damage on his ultimate if he pulls off a sick drift. Like a power slide kind of.
Yeah, I think so too. Like, charge it up like it's a game of Burnout, you know? The better the accident, the better it is.
It's the inverse of, you know, he gets the cool factor of calling people cowards while he runs away. So he should be extra rewarded if he curls in.
That's true.
Your mind goes weird places when you cast a lot of LCK Atlas.
Or when you think about Sion too much as well. Guys, a champion. Okay. Speaking of which, yeah, Crazy's having a great time. Just probably the best time of any Gangplank that we've seen so far.
I mean, it's 30 CS up.
Exactly.
With Kleptomancy. That equals a bajillion gold.
Please don't show the gold. It will make everyone depressed.
We've already said that Ornn's itemization is team fight only, which he doesn't have the flexibility to really do anything in lane.
Well, KONGDOO Monster are going to utilize the Rift Herald now, setting themselves up with 5 people. Slightly slow to react is BBQ, but the first charge comes in, and that's almost the mid-outer completed. Vision coming in, Trick spotted over to the side, so KONGDOO Monster pull away, don't decide to fully commit. But still showing signs of life. Only 2,000 gold to lead for BBQ, but a much better showing than game number 1. Sort of rolling over and falling over is how they played that one out. Good knock up though onto Crazy as he's going to have to use his stopwatch. That's called delaying the inevitable. Edge is able to pick that kill up just fine. Sol, rocket jumps his way away from Ghost. IgNar there as well, threatening. This cow has never been so scary in his pajamas.
Smart play from Sol to hit out the blast cone that Gangplank could have tried to flash onto. To confirm the kill onto Gangplank, we have to remember also In Champion Set, we outlined the outscale 5v5 potential for the team fights, and gold is pretty even so far, Atlas, and keeping it around this number. Add 2 more completed items to both teams, and you start to really like KONGDOO's chances in the game.
Yep. Getting better and better. Something about having Crazy this huge, though, is frightening.
Does mean, what do we say? We said skirmishes and 4-1, and both of those are still possible for BBQ, so it feels like everyone's kind of still working towards where they think they'll win, but slight advantage to BBQ because they had kind of a more difficult win condition, one that hasn't really worked so far this season. The Nidalee drafts you think of, they didn't work.
Yeah.
Basically, outscale team fight. KSV showed the way in the first series, and it has been pretty much the standard way to play. But you always like to see comps like BBQ's work from time to hold the team fight outscale in check.
Feels like BBQ have got one of those comps that just relies on having almost perfect map control as far as vision availability. At the moment, they are actually playing it out quite nicely. You can see the defensive vision on their top side is working out. The Baron has spawned a minute and a half ago. You can understand why they want to at least hold on to that area.
Here in Ornn.
Yeah, as Ghost, he's going to get double tapped by it. There's the flasher, but it's a good flash to get out of the way of the Dazzle. They'll get rid of this turret, but can they actually find any more? Cannon Barrage comes down. 5 members slowed up, but BBQ not going to go for anything more, as there is only the Pirate's cannon, not actually the Pirate himself, so not wanting to opt in for any sort of 4v5.
I think Crazy was focused on farming there because the ult was very, very late.
Yeah.
Didn't lead to anything. Nice little roam from Roach. Doesn't lose anything in the bot lane as the minion wave is pushed over. KONGDOO Monster, 1,400 gold behind. Basically nothing. But 22 minutes into the game, the Infernal, the only real thing that BBQ can hold over their heads as the game goes on. Next Drake will be an Ocean.
I really like what's happening this game, though, because KONGDOO obviously doing exactly what their team comp wants to do. BBQ doing exactly what theirs does. Try and find opportunities where there's not as many people on the enemy team and kill them all. By standing in brushes you know you have vision of. Whereas KONGDOO Monster just move forward as 5. They're like, it's the buddy system. Let's hold hands, rocket down the mid lane, see what happens.
I forget that every time the AD carry and support have been near a minion wave, everyone's just donating gold to each other when they show up. It's almost like they're sharing their pocket money, you know? Like
it is a friendly
They
meta,
come back and
isn't
like, here you go, here you go, here you go. It's really silly. Please stop it, Riot.
I think it's adorable.
You're enjoying this Quadra Relic Shield bot lane meta?
Yeah, I'm okay with it. It's almost as good as having
You're part of the problem.
10 stopwatches.
We're not quite there yet.
I don't make any of the decisions on that one, Pop Smithy, so we're all going to be okay. I'm just generally happy with stuff.
You do actually decide when the game will start, though, for the broadcast. You're the one that decided we were having a 50-minute podcast yesterday. We're pulling the curtain back here, OGN Legion.
Well, that's what Kha'Zix decided. He's just decided that my name needs to be changed from Max to Min. He says that I was named wrong. He's like, Max, change your ID. I'm like, that's my real name.
You can still change it.
I know, it's just way more expensive and difficult, and I'd have to get a new passport and all that sort of stuff, Pop Smithy. You know, it's hard. I should be saying all of this, Kha'Zix.
That's true.
I'm sorry.
He's an intimidating man. The man has a lot of presence.
Yeah.
The Korean hype guy, if you're wondering who we're talking about.
Probably the most storied commentator in the history of esports ever.
Yeah, people forget that, or don't know that he was around for the start of Brood War and the explosion of esports here in Korea around the 2000 timeline, so he's OG as they come.
Yep, if there's anyone to take notes of, certainly him, but I wouldn't envy you going back and doing all the research because there are so many hours Kha'Zix available if you wanted them.
Feels like so many hours when you're trying to solo down an Ocean Drake early, but we're later in the game, so a bit faster here for Trick.
He's doing okay. Third one locked in here for BBQ.
Do you have a BBQ Trick, by the way? You're a barbecue Trick, I guess is probably the better way to put it. You are an Aussie.
As doing tricks with like a Barbie mate, as we cook
like
some snags.
I mean, we're Aussies, so we should be able to give Barbie tips to...
Oh, tips. I thought you said tricks.
A tip or trick.
I was like, I don't really have too many tricks. I mean, I can flip a steak, right? I mean, that's not hard.
How many times, Atlas?
How many times?
Do you flip a steak? One?
Only once. What the hell?
Hey, some people disagree.
Whew. And you do it pretty soon and then take it off pretty soon.
Oh.
That's how you do it. And you have a really, really hot barbecue. Tips for those at home. That's assuming you've got good meat. Otherwise, if you don't, just burn the crap out of it. All tastes the same then.
Well, We papered over a whole lot of nothing as people are setting up.
Whoa, speaking. Okay.
That's not nothing.
That's not nothing at all. Well, Tric's health bar was almost nothing, which is the analogy I was looking for, but Edge unable to quite finish that one off, but he's a man to be respected now.
Just to be clear, they were setting up Baron vision. If you joined us for game 2, you'll remember that this can happen multiple times.
Yeah. They may even force the Baron. And then peel off the Baron. And then force the... Here, we've got some forcing of the Baron.
But it's KONGDOO Monster. How hard will they force?
Are we going to peel off the Baron? SSol says yes. Lands it, as that's the sickest game of Pong I've seen for a long time. Cosmic Radiance set up at exactly the right time. There's a 3-man knock-up as well as Ornn. Roach getting the work done. Picks off the AD carry in the end. And we've got Ryze. He's going to survive through it all after that. And KONGDOO Monster, they find the team fight that they were looking for, but they only get one. So maybe I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, a little bit overexcited, but can they get the Baron?
They had the turn with the Ornn. We said long-range initiation. That's why they could actually confirm kills that BBQ are not able to. KONGDOO Monster, let's see what they do here. I think they'll have to pull away. Still so much damage and full health members from BBQ. But that's the difference in the team comps. KONGDOO Monster now with these Baron forces, they'll have Ornn ultimate up in just another couple of seconds, Atlas.
Yeah. Call of the Forge God is so good. You saw just basically guaranteed that kill onto Ghost despite the stopwatch.
Flash was down, it should be noting. Just came up now, did not fail Flash. Or fail to use it.
The old gray screen Flash interruption. Big problem. I run into that all the time.
Is there any worse feeling than wasting Flash and dying at the same time? Probably not.
I don't think so.
Alright, there were no 50-50 Barons in the previous game. Lots of turns. Speaking of turns, Teleport is drawn out here.
Yeah, great positioning as well as another Call of the Forge God, but a good knock-up onto Trick. That's the headbutt pulp though as IgNar goes in. We've got the first pick-off, but no. SSol does manage to go gold, but only lasts a little bit longer. Trick just slashes him away with that Q. Ryze has to get the hell out of dodge. Secret's there as well as Edge. Just trying to throw out a cheeky Q, and now BBQ, it's their turn to go for a potential Baron. That's 2 picks. This should be a BBQ Baron right now. They've got so much damage as well.
Because they didn't have wards behind them. They didn't know that a flank teleport could come, and SSol was caught in the middle. Baron down to 4,000, 2,000 now.
Yeah, and Ryze is so far away, just gets the hell out of there. Secret is going to be immune, but not forever. And that is a very dead Taric. And BBQ with Baron.
Really interesting passage in play. Even though KONGDOO Monster had the start Baron and turn option, because of the deep teleport, it kind of ran short of options. We're going to see the replay here. As they back away, they're like, okay, let's get onto the Kha'Zix. Someone has to deal with Crazy. Ryze is on Crazy. Edge is on Crazy. SSol is kind of caught between in 2 minds. Dies. Malzahar ult into the trap from Caitlyn and is dead. And while the rest of them get out from here, eventually it's going to be Taric's death as well in the contest for Baron. Good decisions from BBQ. It's a different game. It's a different scenario than the previous game. But the Baron dance is won by BBQ.
Yeah. The Cannon Barrage was always there to make sure that BBQ could tell KONGDOO Monster where to go at the same time. It just felt like they were caught. Ducks were set up in a row there for BBQ. Smackdown, now Baron's here. That gold lead has extended to a considerable margin, 6,000. Been talking about 6,000 for quite some time. You were in game number 2. BBQ have achieved it once again, but this time the purple worm is dead.
Time QSS is present for SSol. Did not have it for the previous fight. So will not be caught in quite the same manner. Doesn't have to drop damage for it, but doesn't have any armor penetration. That's worth noting. He doesn't really need. He's against 4 squishies in a situationally tank Alistar.
Yeah, so it might be a different sort of game, I guess, as BBQ start to try and siege these turrets down. The turn potential, if we've got a siege set up for BBQ, sorry, for KONGDOO, is a lot better.
KONGDOO also have the better 5v5 team comp. I'd say it's pretty close in power, even though they're 7,000 gold behind.
Oh, the Forge God does get 1 knock-up, but it's only onto IgNar. As again, very early Cosmic Radiance, not utilized whatsoever as Ryze. He's the target that they opt in for. They are able to take him down, though. It's crazy. Lots of damage with that Q to finish him off at the end. Now 5 members of BBQ just
Roach
crashing
dead.
down. Ornn is just wiped off the face of the map. And this should be this turret falling down as well. We've got all sorts of different minions to tank it up. Voidlings coming down. There's still a cannon creep in the back there, and the base is broken. We thought that KONGDOO's teamfight composition was going to work out, but when the Call of Forge God hits the target that actually you'd prefer wasn't near you, it's just not what you want. IgNar really having a great game.
I'm not even going to call out the Call of the Forge God because he got 2 flashes with it. It's the immense or very quick follow into Taric ultimate being wasted. The Taric ultimate usage has been desperately poor. I pointed out earlier, I'm reminded of it in that particular fight. If it was there, what, 3 seconds later for the Malzahar turn? Malzahar doesn't turn until he knows that the damage will register, that it won't just be answered by something like the Cosmic Radiance. So it doesn't matter. Your teamfight comp doesn't really come online if you're behind in gold and your invulnerability button is pressed at the wrong time.
Yeah. It's like the threat of Cosmic Radiance is actually more powerful than the actual Cosmic Radiance itself.
Definitely don't agree at 6 items, but now, absolutely, Atlas. And the fact that it's being wasted so much means that they're slightly behind in their damage timings, and they don't have the extra tankiness of 2.5 seconds of invulnerability.
It's going to be a 4th dragon going down. Oh, you see that many. And the 3 Ocean Drakes as well. This health bar is going to be like everyone's got a Warmogs.
Not really health behind it, so it's not going to be ticking as hilariously fast if someone has 4,000 health, Warmogs, and 3 Oceans.
Yeah, that's true. Where's our Mundo?
On the edge of the meta, one day.
Yep.
In solo queue,
Mac was pretty keen on the Emax Mundo.
We lost Marin as well.
Yeah.
So another resident Mundo.
Everyone loves their resident Mundos. IgNar. Again, gatekeeping.
A long time for the quest to come online. Tempt just got the quest there for his extra movement speed.
Yep, going to be able to hunt people down.
All right, KONGDOO Monster still in with a shout. It's unfortunately becoming a quieter and quieter shout. Looks like they will be going 1-1, a whisper, if you will, for KONGDOO Monster, but they have to eventually layer their ultimates better, you would imagine. The items on Soul are very solid. Only now was the Seraph's Embrace completed on Edge. I feel like a Void Staff and, say, a completed Mercurial Scimitar, and maybe we can, with coordination, see KONGDOO win a team fight, but it shouldn't have been this many qualifiers. Shouldn't have been ifs. Should have been eventuality for KONGDOO to win team fights, but just with their use of their abilities so far, it's becoming more and more tricky for them to actually pull it off.
And with how poised they were playing in game number 1 as well, and especially their first series against MVP, does feel like a bit of a deterioration of that level of play we saw out of KONGDOO earlier. Maybe some fatigue, or maybe the mental game starting to get more difficult, but some normalcy potentially getting achieved now. It's still under 10,000 gold, although very shy. The inhibitor is about to respawn once again, but BBQ are well and truly in control at this point. Close to 6 items for Crazy, so good news for KONGDOO is that he won't be able to get any stronger, in theory.
You have to turn your head a little bit when you say things like that, and
yeah.
Looks like he's going to work on a Phantom Dancer item match in his last item. Static Shiv if you want to style on people.
And remember, if they manage to draw this game out, KONGDOO Monster, we do have the Ultra upgrades, you know, like the Living Forge upgrades for Ornn as well. So we might get that Molten Edge happening, things like that. Might have a real pretty death cap.
It usually ends up being a 7th item unless someone desperately needs a Control Ward slot, then it becomes a bit more difficult. So maybe in competitive play, it'll be slightly earlier.
Haven't actually seen one myself.
Not for another 10 minutes at least in this particular game, Atlas, as
yeah,
things are slowly coming to the fore. You won't see the support items sold on Soul till he can finish a completed item just because there's so much value in the health. As we see a WQ from Alistar, will we see more?
Yep, Secret actually has to flash towards the end there, meaning that he's not going to get any cheeky flash dazzles or anything like that. A lot of traps coming down. BBQ setting up for this Baron in 8 seconds time. Would have really liked Secret to be dead. Unable to find it. Edge, you have to be careful, mate. These barrels unable to find their marks, but Call the Forge God one
pretty
more
long
time.
range one as well.
Yeah, it does get the knock up onto Ghost, but doesn't find the way in. As in goes IgNar, it's his turn, and that's just an immediate explosion. 2 kills should come in straight away. As once again, Secret very, very dead. Edge, pretty sure he was just a giant red health bar.
Here we
go. Oh, the assassination, not going to happen. As the flash does come out. Trick goes very, very low as in goes Ryze. Last-ditch effort for the Jarvan. So he's going to go down. Roach looks on in horror as his jungler is decimated. And now BBQ just looking for the victory. They'll take down this inhibitor. It's Sol and Roach alive to try and defend the last remaining Nexus turrets. IgNar, ooh, that was really cute, that interaction, but didn't quite work. There's a stopwatch for Roach as he is just going to get stunned up and killed in the end. Sol, the last man standing, can't actually get there. Lots of damage available, but they're just going to take down these turrets. QSS is there to save him from at least the beginnings of the Nether Grasp.
Wasting a lot of time here. This might actually not be the end of the game because the minion wave wasn't there and they were caught between different ideas. They're going to back away and the game's extended.
Okay. Agent Secret, respawn in time. 36 minutes into this game, I guess not quite long enough to secure the end. Roach has got teleport, 20 seconds to go. May not even be a free Baron here for BBQ on their way out. They need to get some sort of vision down.
Needs to get control around it, but I take your point out, that's probably going to be a shopping trip before Baron is attempted, and just the setup is more important than actually starting the objective.
Ryze is in here now as well, so IgNar, happy to face check. This ward will fall down immediately. And you're right, okay.
It's 5,000 gold lead, by the way, for the Gangplank.
God, and it's close to a 13,000 gold lead for BBQ as a team as well, so thanks for that, Crazy. Kleptomancy Gangplank, pretty silly as another call comes in. We're playing some Pong. Cute little stopwatch coming out from Tempt, as that's a huge 3-man knockup with that Pulverize. IgNar just going to pull off for now, though. Cosmic Radiance was waited out. And there's just another pick-off. It's all too easy here with the Malzahar. He says, go kill this target, and they do. Okay, Realm Warp just says Roach is dead, and we're going to try our best to get out. Actually not dead for the next little while, as he's waiting for another Searing Charge. Doesn't get it. Ghost is going to be able to pick up that kill. Sol answers one back, though, as Trick goes slightly over-aggressive. But 4 versus 3, still good odds here for BBQ.
Once again, trying to train on ending the game. 3 low-health members of KONGDOO Monster.
A bit of damage still available here for KONGDOO Monster as well. Level 17 means that Draw a Bead's giving this Tristana a lot of range. Opportunities to defend, but also opportunities to take down inhibitors, take down inhibitor turrets. That's exactly what they did just then.
Kind of taxiing in with the minion wave. Second inhibitor down. Definitely, as you guys can probably tell, some inevitability about where this game is at, despite all our pre-match hype about how good the teamfight comp has been. We still haven't seen a real Cosmic Radiance find value. Traded it for the Alistar ultimate in that last engage. They back away. Running straight to Baron is probably the only proactive thing that KONGDOO can do, and killing Ghost would be another one.
Yep. Sorry, I was feeling way too good about that particular barrel. Barrel underneath that turret looks so good. As KONGDOO Monster start off the Baron once again. That's a real late teleport coming out from Crazy, but they're still going to commit to it just to make sure that they can't head back there, and they know it's only a matter of time. Super Creeps are going to start heading towards this one Sol remaining Nexus turret.
I think just having Caitlyn bot side and soloing the Elder is something they could have done at this point in the game. She can definitely solo it very happily, and we see once again the Force. This is the only place on the map KONGDOO can force, so they have to do it.
Oh, they've got 5 members in here, waiting for their opportunity. Trick wants to try and get the steal. Cannon Barrage comes down. That's going to help out as well. Call the Forge God does absolutely nothing as he steals a Trick! That's how we do it! Should be enough to secure the game, and they are going to try and secure the ace at the same time. Sol gets 1 as Trick steals away the Baron, but he gets his life taken from him. Sol last man standing, and that's going to be BBQ finishing off this series.
The
2 in a row.
The Winions, the Smite steal, everything at the same time. Tempt doesn't have his ult up just yet. The game will end, and BBQ stop the win streak of KONGDOO Monster and get on the board.
Yep, looks like Malzahar so strong in this particular series as well. Tempt playing it so fantastically well. I'm glad you highlighted him earlier in the game because he was just nether grasping a target, and then the rest of the team jumps on top. I know it's a pretty linear way of going about team fighting in League of Legends, but damn is it effective.
Yeah, there's certainly not too many mechanics to talk about with Malzahar. It's target selection and target selection only, but it was on point. Waited for the right timings, like you mentioned. Cosmic Radiance, not even really an ability in this game. There's some Ryze smiles on the face of the BBQ members. They won't be happy with how Game 1 played, but they'll be happy with how Set 1 played for this new lineup, reinvigorated by 2 EU LCS stars in Trick and IgNar, returning to ply their trade in Korea. Still a lot of learning to be done for both teams, clearly. We finally saw that KONGDOO Monster, after a loss, really did seem to shatter apart. Not necessarily all fall apart, but definitely there were parts of their game, their smart macro and warding, for example, that did slow down a little bit. So things to be learned for both sides, but the end result, BBQ, going into their first break. You know, they won't. I don't believe they play again until next week. Could be wrong on that one, but
yeah,
at least leaving their first match with a victory.
Yeah, game number 1 looked real good for KONGDOO Monster, but another player that we do need to talk about, you mentioned our European imports, theoretically. IgNar, man. The Shen game wasn't fantastic.
Nope.
The Braum game was Braum, but that was some Alistar. Papa Smithy, that was really beautiful from IgNar. Just looked so comfortable, like he did back on the Misfits as well when he was toying with the likes of SKT. They brought them to 5 games, did the Misfits, and it was thanks to IgNar and his aggressive play, but just the way he knows exactly when to press almost every one of his buttons within teamfights. And
I notice also, outside of something like his teamfight mechanics, I just love his roaming. Whenever I see him strap on those boots of mobility, it reminds me of vintage Gorilla and his ability to read the map, be in the right position, make the plays happen. Look at these fans, they're going crazy
yeah,
over BBQ's victory, and they should be. Very nice performance from them. BBQ as an organization have been a long-suffering one in League of Legends under ESC ever. Previously had that big highlight of the 2015 Kesper Cup, but even after that, apart from getting to the LCK, there really hasn't been much to show for them. So under the BBQ stewardship, just like when they started in spring last year, they start their season with a victory. It's going to be all about building upon this reinvigorated lineup rather than just resting on the laurels that is their victory in their first match.
Yeah, well, exactly right. And it feels like this team is only going to get better and better as they get more used to playing on this particular stage, get more used to playing with each other as well. I mean, Trick and IgNar have been playing and speaking in English when they play League of Legends for years and years now, so must be confusing even speaking to one another. It's like, oh man, it's so easy. I can speak in Korean again. This is the best. Still getting excited, but here we are. A lot of damage done once again by the Gangplank.
That's what Gangplank does, and he had the most free lane possible. Ornn was picked into Gangplank, didn't build anything resembling something that adds damage to his build, so Gangplank just added gold to himself. He was basically just a bank going up and up. He was Bitcoin 3 months ago, I guess, was the Gangplank, just increasing in value in exponential fashion. Easy stuff there. Too easy for Crazy, I would say. Too easy, I would say, in general for BBQ in Game 3. Good first couple of games, but Game 3 really got away from KONGDOO Monster. No perfect game, but a lot of objectives really one-sidedly to BBQ. Who will get that MVP? Will we have double EU LCS imports? We will not. It's Tempt, the man that I bigged up in the mid lane, will pick up the MVP.
Yeah, 89% kill contribution as well. Like, man looked brilliant. We mentioned exactly why Malzahar is so coveted at the moment, but KONGDOO didn't quite pick it up. Didn't try and go for any first picks of that in our third match, and were made to pay for it.
A lot of people sleep on this player. I'll keep hyping. This guy is super good. One of the best mid laners we have in Korea. Is he FLICKR? No. But is he someone who is aspiring to really become a top 3 mid laner? I don't know if he's there yet, but he's getting closer and closer, Atlas, and his team growing around him is going to be really big for him. If they really can level up, like I believe they can with the roster they've assembled, I think Tempt will be the star. And on Malzahar, you don't often have a chance to show yourself because the mechanics are quite limited, skill shots, but his decisions here, perfect on the Zonias or stop once. I actually honestly don't know which one he had at that point, but wait for him holding onto the ultimate, waiting out the Cosmic Radiance, take out Ryze on the Jarvan and go from there. Great stuff this time from Tempt.
Yep, choose the low health target, get the easy kill, get the free kill. Guaranteed. BBQ playing it by the numbers. And that was all that she wrote. Now we're going to be able to have a chat with Trick and Tempt. And that means we're going to have a bit of a call from our friend Joel as well, Papa Smithy, which is going to be great. So let's throw it over to him for the translation of the interview.
Thank you very much, guys. This is Joel with your interview of today. We're going to have LCK, another series between BBQ and KONGDOO Monster this time. With BBQ picking up a 2-1 victory at the end. We're gonna have the MVP interview with our players Trick and Tempt for the interview. Trick, you're back in front of the Korean audience and playing in front of anything you like to say. Well, I am Trick and I am back in Korea. Do you remember your last game in Korea?
2015년도에 삼성전 그 2차전에서 삼성전 때 뛰고 마지막에.
It was 2015 when I played that last game. And there was a lot of things that went on between that time until now. And you really have dominated the European region and made a name for yourself before you did return back to Korea. What was the biggest impact and the biggest influence in your decision to return back to Korea this year?
일단 유럽에서 들어갈 때부터 생각했던 게 한국으로 다시 돌아오고 싶다.
Ever since I did go over to Europe, it was a plan that I already had in mind to become a better player and to return Korea when I was ready again. And I think when I did return to Korea, so many fans welcomed me, and that was really emotional for me.
세 번이나 찾아가신 건 아니죠? 네. 막 갖다 붙이고 세 번은 아니잖아요. 그런 느낌이라는 거죠. 네. 새벽에 또 오는 거에 또 감동을 받아서. 네. 실제로 뭐 같이 지내보니까 어떤가요?
And how is the new team now that you're into it?
일단 고스트 장영준 선수랑 옛날에도 같은 팀원이어가지고.
I think with me having been teammate with Ghost before, I think including him, all the teammates are really welcoming him. It's really easy to get friends with them.
실제로 어떤가요? 새로운 멤버들.
And how is it, Tempt, with all these new members entering the team?
좋아진 것 같아요.
I think it's become better for sure.
뭐가 제일 좋아요?
What specifically is good?
잘하는 것 같아요. 뭐 트릭도 그렇고 이그나도 그렇고.
그냥 일단 좋아요.
I know it's just good. What else do I have to say?
부끄러움이 많은 또 선수라서.
그래서 그 얘기를 또 해봐야죠. 아이번이 나왔어요.
And a lot of the things that we had a lot of question marks over was the Ivern, and it seemed like a champion that LCK junglers necessarily do not like and have not shown much interest in the past. People say Ivern is weak, but I think at the current state where it is, at level 6, I don't think it necessarily loses 1v1 to any other jungler champion at the moment. And of course, another advantage with Ivern, you can become the second support of your team past that level 6 with items you can go with it. And we felt like you were really testing our patience with the Ivern, going back and forth with the Baron. And there was a situation where I couldn't put out the control ward as well as I wanted to, but and I think that was the reason why the game got a little extended than what I wanted. Tempt, how do you feel about that? I feel like it was a little more extended than it needed to be. But I felt like, even though through the extension, I felt like we were always ahead and we weren't feeling rushed about doing anything risky to get a win on game 2. And we're gonna see the highlight where we did see BBQ pick up that very much needed Baron.
오랜 시간 기다렸거든요. 많은 팬분들도 상대를 잡아내면서 먹는 장면이었는데.
It was a different scene, not really in accordance with what Damgun was calling for that, but.
Oops. 템트 선수는 또 3세트 MVP로.
But let's go to game 3 though. Tempt, you did pick up the MVP, and Malzahar is one of those champions that keeps giving the wins over to whoever picks it up. And what do you think is the strength of Malzahar right now? And I think one of the big things that really makes your opponent mid laner weaker is that you have to go with the QSS, and if you don't go with it, you just lose to the Malzahar. And since you do have to get the QSS, essentially the innate strength of your opponent mid laner becomes weaker. What is the weakness of Malzahar then? That's a different question we want to ask you in spite of all the strength that you gave us.
괜찮을까요?
일반 유저분들한테 뭔가 도움이 되나?
그렇죠.
약점은
And of course, the weakness would be the very early laning phase where it is very vulnerable to ganks and it could die easily if you're not careful. Any counters to Malzahar? I think, you know, when you're playing Malzahar, playing against a champion that can clear waves fast enough, it does make it annoying to play with the Malzahar. And Trick, after game 3, didn't IgNar tell you that he might get the MVP? You know, for me personally, I didn't even ask him, but I figured that, you know, IgNar would get MVP, but everybody else did well, so I guess Tempt getting the MVP is not the weirdest thing. But IgNar told me that Tempt was going to get the MVP, so his calculations were correct on that one. And of course, you know, we have to talk about IgNar not being to its fullest in game 1. And what was the discussion that went on between that after its game 1? You know, I feel like we were gonna win out at the end, but I think the ban pick phase was not towards our favor, and we did end up with very weak picks that we wanted a little bit stronger in return.
템트 선수 좀 궁금한 게
Tempt.
그 주도권에 있어서
And
누가 더 위에 있나요?
what do you call yourself? What do you recognize yourself within the team in regards to shot calling or being the overall leader? You know, right now I'm just following all the shot calling that Trick gives out.
이번 정도 괜찮나요?
What do you think about Ivern as a champion then? I'm not a big fan of it, to be honest, but you know, it's a champion that Trick wants to play, and I have to give the trust over to him. And of course, this Ivern can be unique to BBQ's lineup in the future, but it was your first ever LCK game in this opener. And of course, you did get a win, but would you like to say anything in regards to how you will do in the future? And I know that, including me, there's a player named Bono, and he should be getting a lot of attention, and I think he deserves all the praise, so I have a good expectation for him as well.
Google him, you'll find him.
And it seems like that's the interview. We're going to throw it right back over to you guys.
Not that Bono, man.
Wait, it's not the guy from YouTube?
No, it's not.
How do you know? Have you seen him?
Well, I sort of have. I think you can see his glasses down there. Remember that girl in the crowd? I think she stole those ones away. But in the end, it is a BBQ Oliver's victory. Able to pick up that win on the red side as well. Game number 3, really sort of bucking that trend. And Tempt deserved MVP because that Malzahar certainly has brought itself into the forefront. Papa Smithy?
Doesn't mean the BBQ Olivers do. With their, you know, reinvestment, with their bigger lineup, pick up a victory. We're going to see one new and one old. KSV, your world champions, come back after crushing Kingzone, Dragon X, or Longzhu in the first series of the season. And we get our 10th and final debut as the IgNar Green Wings are the first to start up this season.
Yeah, Grace and Wraith joining the roster. If you didn't watch the Kesper Cup, then Grace is going to be a new name for you, and Wraith as well, making his way over. So some changes for the IgNar Green Wings, but we'll see whether they're going to be good changes, because Wraith moved away from the team that could potentially be slaughtering him after the break.
Cheers to BBQ.
Cheers to BBQ, Papa Smithy. I'm excited to get into the next match, and congratulations to the Chicken. We'll see you after a very short 20-minute break.
Trust that you're able, you trust my God. We sing a lullaby, 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 we sing a from my sweet child. side. We sing a lullaby.
Coming up next, IgNar Green Wings, KSV, beginning of the end. 2018 League of Legends Champions Korea Spring Split.